How you doing? It's me, Coach, with Grant Cohn. Welcome to the Coaches Meeting hosted by the Coaches Huddle, where the field meets family. This is the first time Grant has been a guest on my platform outside of the format front, but it's just us two. We're here to talk about a lot. We're here to get things done, and we're here to shoot the What's going on, faithful? We are here once again, and I'm here with my man, Grant Cole. Grant, how are you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm gonna be flying to Chicago tonight, and then driving to Green Bay tomorrow, and then driving back to Chicago tomorrow, and then flying. It's gonna be intense. I'm excited about it. Let's do it. All for Brandon Allen.
All for Brandon Allen. It's going to be an
Nick
exciting
Bosa can't
affair.
even go. Like he's like, you know what? It's not really worth my time to go. I'm gonna rehab here, which is like, but I'm going. I'm freaking going. I'm flying coach.
I mean, my biggest thing right now is that there's so many injuries. We have to lead with Brock's absence right now. Brock Purdy is not going to be playing in tomorrow's football game versus the Green Bay Packers. One thing that we have to look at is what can we gain from the obvious? We already know that Brandon Allen is playing. We're going to be a lesser version of ourselves than we already have been of ourselves for the whole season. And let's just start kind of looking at the silver lining. So with Brock Purdy sidelined due to injury, could this be a hidden advantage for the 49ers as his contract negotiations loom? Plus, something else to look at. If Purdy misses more games, does it give Kyle Shanahan an excuse if the team misses the playoffs? I mean, there's a lot of ways these things could shape. What do you think?
I see what you mean, right? Like this could save the Niners a whole lot of money, because now what we're seeing with Brock is, well, you may have injury issues like Jimmy G had. You are small. You are kind of frail. You run around. You don't really protect yourself that much. You may have gotten hurt scrambling in the first quarter against the Seahawks. Maybe you're not the kind of – you've already had UCL surgery. Like, you keep injuring your throwing arm. Maybe you're not the kind of guy that a team should invest a 5-year deal in. So maybe it's good for the 49ers in that sense to, like, learn that now and potentially avoid giving out a contract that they would regret for the next generation. That's one. Because I don't think they should be giving Brock Purdy that big contract. And all of a sudden, it's starting to look like he probably won't get that big contract.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed as well is that there may be a little bit of movement as far as how guys are going to get signed moving forward, as far as trusting the football side. Kyle and John versus Parag Marate basically getting marching orders from the Orcs, right? So this would also be kind of a misnomer into how deals are going to get done in the future. Maybe they may say, hey, this may be just a change to how Brock is going to get paid just because of how the process is. It may be different, right? There may be no infrastructure of back and forth, and then Kyle swoops in the 11th hour and gets to put on his cape and close the deal. So that may be something to look at as well. Do you think that Brock not playing, what's your over under on Brock not playing as far as how it would affect his contract negotiations moving forward?
I think it would affect them because he needs to show that he's durable and he could be there. Like, if they give him all this money, are you even going to be on the field? Because I think that's what the Niners ultimately used against Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, hey, man, like, we win with you and, like, you put up good numbers. You're not the greatest quarterback, but it works. But, like, you're not out there enough. You get hurt.
Right.
You've gotten hurt multiple times, and, like, Brock Purdy seems to be going a similar direction. And I think what's interesting is, like, they were struggling with him. They're 5-5 with him. They were underdogs against the Packers with him. But now, since he's out and Brandon Allen's the quarterback, like, there's a lot less heat on Kyle Shanahan. When he lost to the Seahawks and Geno Smith with Brock Purdy on the field, like, Niners fans' heads exploded. But now he's back in the position where, like, no pressure, not expected to win. If they win, he's the greatest coach of all time. And if he even puts up 25 points, he might be a genius. So I think he's in a much better spot.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that he's in a much better spot. I mean, and moving forward, I think that one of the things that we've seen, you look for like different versions of what Brock's deal could look like. And we've already talked about Baker Mayfield's deal, right? And understanding that with what Baker Mayfield has done, I don't think that it was a good look for us to play against Baker Mayfield in the game where I think that Baker Mayfield outplayed Brock. And if you look at it, just let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. If you gave us Baker Mayfield, and put Brock Purdy on the Bucks that day, what's the outcome of that game?
I think the Niners win it.
Right.
I think they win it with Baker. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's a little bit better than Brock. And maybe Brock might have been injured at that point. But I want to point something out. Like, we learned a lot from Kyle yesterday. He essentially said that Brock had an MRI on Monday and the team didn't think it was a big deal. He's like, we got the results. I mean, we didn't anticipate any of this. We thought with a little bit of rest, he'd be good. And then he went out there on Thursday, and it was better than he expected. And now, like, we don't really know what to expect because the MRI said no big deal, but he can't throw, so he might not even play next week. Like, that's the next weird.
That's kind of like the next question that this situation kind of lies out. They already had the MRI done. Is this something that can linger into multiple weeks? Is this just a one-off? Is this something where Brock just needs rest and they're pacing him out to see how he looks when they try him out again once he gets back here from Green Bay? Or is this something that has legs, right? Are we going to be looking at the Brandon Allen show? One thing that I will say is that
it sounds like he's saying there's nothing structurally wrong with his shoulder, although he has come out and said it. But if he said we looked at the MRI and thought he could play this week, then it seems like they're kind of saying, well, we don't really know. I mean, he says it hurts. He says he can't throw. We're just kind of waiting for him to clear himself. That's what it sounds like. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I hope he's not questioning Brock's toughness, but maybe it's just one of those things. It's like, I'm not in his body. If he says he can't throw, he can't throw.
The only thing about that worries me is that you've seen situations like this throughout the season, right? After the loss, Kyle goes to Brock and directly has a conversation with him in front of his locker. You look at some of the way that the drives have been coming out where Kyle is kind of asking Brock to, execute my offense. I'm not necessarily going to pace you out and protect you with the run game. You're going to be able to run what I call. Are you seeing do you see that Kyle maybe putting in a little bit of culpable deniability, kind of distancing himself from Brock? So if his performance, not to say that he wants Brock to fail, but if he does fail, it'll be by Brock's merit and his merit alone.
Well, I think that's an interesting point that you bring up. Like, everyone knows that the offense hasn't been performing up to expectations this year, especially in the red zone. And the question is, like, what has been not just the red zone. It's like yak is down. Separation is down. Like, where are the wide open throws? And it's, some people say they're out there and that Brock is just choosing to throw into tight windows or choosing to scramble. So now Kyle has an opportunity. Like, Brandon Allen isn't going to scramble. Brandon Allen is just going to execute the offense the way Kyle wants him to the best of his ability. And if the offense is somehow better than it was with Brock running around the last few weeks, then that's stock up for Kyle and stock down for Brock. Can you imagine how much money Brock Purdy could theoretically lose this weekend if, say, Brandon Allen wins and plays well?
Oh, 100%. If like Kyle, and we've actually spoken about this, so I don't want to take this as my take, but we both agreed that this is pretty much one of the most non-pressure games for Kyle that he's going to see all season. Nobody expects him to do anything from a coaching perspective as far as winning this game, let alone dominating it whatsoever. So if the Niners, I'm going to tell you this right now, Grant, there's a world, in my opinion, where we could barely lose this game and put up a good fight. And
that's what I'm talking about. Because with no Bosa, it's a tall task to win. But let's say they lose 30-31 or something like that.
2017. Same thing the way we lost last week.
That's a good point. All they got to do is score 18 points, and all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a second. Yeah. Good point. It's a low bar.
So let's get some super chats out of the way real quick.
Sure.
Ivan Tina, thank you. As long as Moody plays, we have a chance.
Was that a Packers fan?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even, to be honest, it could be. I don't even notice this name. AI25, what game this year has told us Purdy is the guy? Ooh.
Yikes.
I don't have a game this year.
There isn't one.
I don't have
his last great game was what? In Philly? against Dallas. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Against in Jacksonville, in Pittsburgh. I don't know. He had a few last year.
Yeah, it's pretty. He had a few last year, but I don't think that Brock has had a distinguishable game this year where he carried us. He's carried us in drives, though. Definitely. There's been drives where Brock has carried us. The first drive, honestly, drive 1 versus Seattle, without Brock scrambling, I don't think we score. We
True.
don't score.
Remember, he scrambled, slipped, fell, and then next play scrambled for a touchdown. Like the same play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before that, but even earlier in that drive, he had an 8-yard run. He had a 3-yard run. Like, he was actually running a lot to get that drive done.
And I think he got hit and got hurt
drive,
on one of those runs. I think he did. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in that drive, that drive was 12 plays, 71 yards for 8 minutes and change. Out of that drive, there were 7 runs. Okay. 3 runs by Christian McCaffrey, 2 runs by Jordan Mason, and 2 runs by Brock Purdy, surmising 44 yards of the 71. The running the ball it's there. Even when they accidentally get to it, they have to run the ball.
Let me say something blasphemous real quick. I don't mean to pile on Brock, but like, I understand why he didn't say anything about his injury during the game. He's a tough guy. He wants to stay in the game. He's got a lot of money riding on this, but like, if he had gotten paid already, and if he had told Kyle, hey man, like, I'm gutting this out, but my shoulder's messed up and I don't really trust my arm right now. Maybe Kyle doesn't call that throw on 2nd and 11 with the lead with 2.5 minutes left. Like, he couldn't make that throw.
That's fair.
He couldn't make that throw. And you need to tell the coach, like, dude, I can't make this throw because we're going to lose if you call this play. And they lost.
Yeah.
100%. So I think he cost him a little bit. He was trying to be tough, but he cost him.
No, I think that, that's fair. I don't think that's tough. You have to understand there is a little bit of, there's a conversation. This is a real conversation around Brock. He's been trying to do a little too much with the offense. He hasn't necessarily.
He's trying to get paid. He's
trying to get paid.
He's a nice young Christian guy with all the right values, but $60 million a year is $60 million a year, and that'll make anyone, dig deep. It's gonna motivate anyone. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, man, he's trying to do a little too much.
Oh yeah, he's doing way too much. He needs to calm down. All right, Brother Bob. Anti-Kyle Levy, my guy, $2 for a coach who will read this late. I didn't read this late, Brother Bob.
In your face.
Yes, Juan Jimenez, $2. I heard GNX. Oh my God, it's fire. Because of you, it's straight Kyle. Straight buns. Nah, GNX is fire, bro. Have you heard?
What's your favorite song? I like that he has like a bunch of like Bay Area type slap beats on him. Like, I kind of like that. He got some mustard on the track. He put a little mustard on the track.
Mustard! Yo, there's a whole new mustard beat. There's a whole new mustard drop now.
I love mustard, man. Yeah. Because to me, I'm not a big Kendrick fan. A lot of people are like big Kendrick fans. I think the main reason that Not Like Us became the song of the year is because of the beat.
Yeah, mustard.
That beat's incredible. You can dance to it.
Yeah, and the fact
you can see walk to it.
Mustard would get on it because Mustard works with Drake. So it was a big deal.
And he's got that like West Coast sound that kind of sounds like Bay Area-ish, but he's from LA. It's great. It's kind of like bridging the two sounds. Slappy. It's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's a hell of a
good.
Beat. Sorry, Drake. Brother Bob, anti-Kyle Levy, $5. Grant, I will debate you next about Kyle Levy. I will even argue that he's a genius in a Hall of Fame caliber. Okay, that's a lie, but this Rob won't get in his feels. Oh, here we go.
Someone in the chat said their favorite song on the album was Luther. I think that might be mine too. I gotta listen to it a few times. I like Luther.
Okay, I'd like Squabble Up.
Squabble Up is like Not Like Us Part 2.
I like Squabble Up. Squabble Up is fire.
All right, I like the beat. He just sometimes Kendrick's voice makes me sound like he's a Martian.
Yeah, but my thing is that I feel like vocally he tries things. Like he uses his voice like an instrument, almost like the Migos. Like.
I like him when he has a little sing-songy, when he has a little sing-songy flow. He can do that. Sometimes he goes in like full Eminem mode and it's like, dude, your voice is abrasive right now. Can we, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're spitting, but your voice is killing me, Kendrick, please. Sorry. But that's neither here nor there.
Definitely my favorite joint.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into our next topic. Kyle Shanahan's must-win moment, if it is at all. With injuries piling up and no Brock Purdy, as we discussed, the pressure is mounting on Kyle Shanahan. How crucial is this week's game against the Packers for his reputation and the 49ers season? All right. So before I kick it to you, Grant, for me, this is what I'm feeling. This is so ripe for the Shanahan Stan crew. Like, if Kyle wins this game, do you understand the rush of circle jerking that will
Oof.
go down for Kyle? Of like, I told you he was I told you he was the man. I told you. Like, my biggest thing is, I don't think that Kyle has any pressure here. He's absolutely no interviews. I mean, he's got no guys in. Nick Bosa is out. Brock Purdy's out. Trent Williams is a game time decision. We just found out Mooney Ward isn't playing in this game either, even though he's back in the building.
Mhm.
There's injuries. There's injuries in the receiving core with Juwan Jennings still nursing. George Kittle will be back, but right now it just seems like the game is kind of set up for Kyle to have a blank check, right? Anything that he puts out there as far as progress is going to be looked at as, hey man, look at what he's dealing with. He's doing his level best. And then if they win, oh my God, hang it up. So how do you feel about this? Is this a must-win moment for Kyle Shanahan moving forward into the season?
It was going to be a must-win moment if Brock Purdy played and Nick Bosa played. And I'm not saying that Kyle Shanahan's like, hey guys, don't play because this really takes the pressure off me if you guys don't. But that's just the way it worked out. And it's kind of convenient because now all of a sudden Kyle's in a win-win. If he loses, it's okay. Everyone expected him. It's not his fault. It's Brandon Allen. But if he wins, oh my God, he might be the greatest coach of all time. Anyone who ever said fire this guy, fire yourself. I mean, there would
Fire
just
yourself.
right. I mean, it would just be so much. And even if he does win this game, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of the season is going to go so well. But yeah, I mean, he's in a situation where he almost can't lose this weekend. His stock could go up with, like we said, a high scoring competitive win. Not even a high scoring win, just a competitive loss. A competitive loss. All of a sudden, you might look at him as well, but then that would add to his awful record in one score game. So I'm lurking. I'm not going to let him get away with it. I'm going to Green Bay to watch it. Some people might be like, "Why would you go? The game doesn't matter." No. It matters. It matters.
This one matters on so many levels.
Matters.
You got to go to this one. I'll tell you this. It also matters in the sense of every year there's a scapegoat. Every year there's somebody who ends up taking the brunt of the fall as to why the 49ers are not Super Bowl contenders or why they're not in the Super Bowl. There's always guys, right? I just think that, I don't know, is Brock Purdy being lined up as the scapegoat of the season? Because it's not going to be Kyle. I don't believe so.
I mean, if Brandon Allen plays well tomorrow, then yes. Because I think what the narrative will be is like, look, Brock, it's a lot of pressure for anyone to have that kind of a contract looming over him. And he kind of started trying to be Superman. He started passing up some reads that he would have taken, which is natural. You got to show that they'll like publicly try to make it seem like it's not a big deal, but they'll imply that it was him doing too much. And that to me was what Kyle Shanahan was doing at the locker. I couldn't hear what he was saying to Brock, but it didn't matter what he was saying. What mattered was that he was talking to him like this after a loss. Like, I'm kind of pointing at you, man. You're not doing what I kind of want.
Now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the interpretation. I mean, that's the obvious interpretation. So now, again, they didn't put in Dobbs, who would go out there and scramble around, play on field, be a gamer.
You need this.
Not going to do that. It's Brandon Allen. It's like, go back to Brian Hoyer days. It's like, you stand right there and play like a statue and just throw the 7-yard out exactly when I want you to, and that's going to be better than what Brock was doing. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Allen does. I mean, I will say this, and I know people are going to want to throw tomatoes at me. Brandon Allen does throw well outside the numbers. He's got a stronger arm than Brock. He does.
Correct.
And he gets the ball out there much better than Brock does. I know that Kyle loves those routes because it's a way for him to cheat and get up the field quickly. But, Brandon Allen.
You could argue that, like, even when Purdy's having success, it wasn't a win for the scheme. It was a win for Purdy because he was almost kind of showing up the scheme like, hey, man, like, guys aren't open. The answers aren't here. I got to take matters in my own hands. But if Brandon freaking Allen can go out there and execute the scheme and win a game or put up points, like, that's a big win for Kyle. Hey, stop going off script. I have the answers.
It's all about the look, right? We've all been accustomed to what the 49ers look like when things are clicking. And things are clicking when, let's be honest, Kyle has turned everybody into an offensive genius, right? We follow the leader of the clubhouse. It's the same way when Dan Campbell took over the Detroit job. Everybody just had an affinity for biting kneecaps. You follow the affinity of the lead man. And with Kyle, people don't know why the offense works. All they know is that when it's working, people are wide open. Guys are running into zones. They're playing with tempo. The runs are getting to the edges. All of the gadget plays work. And I'm going to tell you, if optically this offense seems to kind of get itself off the ground and have at least, let's say, a half, not even a full game, but let's say like close out a half with the offense looking better than it's looked, better relatively throughout the season, I do see the fans starting to look at Brock and say, like, all right, bro, you may have been doing way too much.
And it's like with Kyle too, it seems like his stock has never been lower than it. I mean, at least with the Niners. After losing to Geno the way he did, a lot of fans were like, I'm done. If you put out a poll like, yeah, like whose fault is this? It's Kyle, like 75%. Like he was, forget scapegoating Brock. That was over. It was all Kyle. There's nothing he can do about it. And now like this is his opportunity to change the narrative and get his stock back up. Like, okay, I know no one wants to blame Brock, and we all like Brock, and he's playing for free, and he's a great story, and I wasn't going to say anything publicly, but like, look at Brandon. This is what I'm talking about without talking about it. So it's exactly. I just don't expect it to go that way. What I expect is, I don't know, the Niners to score like 10, 13 points and lose by a lot. That's what I expect. Maybe I'm wrong.
Man. All right. So at this time, I'd like to just
Brandon Allen.
We're going to get it. That's the next topic.
Like he's Brian Hoyer Redux. He's not. I know Kyle wants to think that he can make it work,
bro.
He wants to think he can make it work with a quarterback like this, but he can't. I don't think he can.
I don't understand, man. I don't know. Brandon Allen. Anyway, now we're going to just go ahead and take a moment for Grant to go ahead and do his thing right now. As far as
all right, our episode today is sponsored by Via Hemp, which has some of the best gummies in the game. If you're looking to after work unwind a little bit with sleep gummies or high love gummies or relief gummies, those are all very nice. There's focus gummies. There's also like the CBD ones if you're looking for like a little bit less relief or a different style of relief. But I like a nice gummy. I don't know about you. I'm just saying. But the thing about gummies is they can taste nasty sometimes. They got to taste good. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man, I am a gummy guy occasionally. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you this. It's a nice way to keep your day going and still be discreet. All right. You could just pop one, keep moving, do what you need to do with Via Hemp.
We're like, it's a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah. Nah. We're adults. Okay. We need the viability of Via Hemp. So we're
the viability.
All right. Let's move into our next.
Hold on. Before we go, I just want to say this holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind. If you're 21 or over, check out the link to Via in my description and use the code COHN to receive 15% off. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you this holiday season. Enhance your everyday with Via. I'm telling you, man, I feel like your life is way better if you have some gummies that you like and that work for you. Because back when I was a kid, man, some people be like, man, I made some gummies. Like, I bet those taste horrendous. But now
I will be honest. Yeah, okay. So now that we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
The homemade gummies suck. They all suck.
So bad.
Because they have like this bitter aftertaste. And you think that you like mixed in the oil the right way, but it didn't, bro. It's like this sour.
Yeah, I know. And then it's like, this looks like something I would enjoy since it's like, you know, it's got little flavor crystals on top, but it tastes terrible, man. You got to make it taste good. Via knows how to make it taste good. That's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me.
That I'm saying through this show right now. You don't even know if I popped a gummy before this show.
I have no idea.
You have no idea, but I'm calm. So I'll let you guess.
Right. They got stuff for that. Just saying.
Hey, all right. Via Hemp. Run yourself. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, level up.
All right, moving into this, we just talked about it. Josh Dobbs is also a quarterback that's on the roster. Brandon Allen, we've already talked about basically how Brock Purdy is done a great job with the offense, but Kyle Shanahan has now chosen Brandon Allen in his stead to play against the Green Bay Packers. With Brock sideline, is Brandon Allen the best option to step in with the lead and lead the 49ers? Let's assess his readiness his potential impact, the differences that he could bring to the offense, if any at all, and whether he can keep the team afloat in such a crucial stretch. So,
look, man, full disclosure, I never thought Brock Purdy would be that much. I watched him in training camp. I watched him in training preseason. I was like, So when I completely write off Brandon Allen right now, keep that in mind. My track record is no better than anyone's. It might be worse, but like, whoa. I mean, if they had Sam Darnold on their team now, they might be able to like weather the storm and continue to win. Like he's winning with Minnesota. But true. Brandon Allen, I don't know that they can win with him. And I think what's rough about their situation is I'm not sure that Joshua Dobbs would give them that much better of a chance to win. And I think we're gonna find out. Not to be like totally, I'm not even sure that Brandon Allen's gonna make it through this game. Like they might have to bench him halfway through. If it doesn't work in the first couple of quarters, they might have to go a different direction. I mean, who is he? He has no track record. He has 2 wins in his life career.
Yeah, Brandon Allen is a career backup. He is the antithesis of a backup. Like that is what he does. One thing I'll say is that I tried to big him up as far as like what I've seen from him in preseason, but none of that crap matters as far as actually playing real NFL games. Right now, like you said, I'd be impressed if Brandon Allen got through the game not hurt, right? Just don't play injured.
Not benched, one or the other.
Yeah, in the course of almost 5 years, he's only played 8 games. So he's got 37 pass attempts in 5 years. And out of that, he's got less than 200 passing yards. So this is somebody who, I mean, to even feel as though that they could do anything with Brandon Allen would kind of be disingenuous.
Wait, hold on. No, here are his numbers. He's been in the league since 2019. Am I tripping? Brandon Allen. No, he started 3 games for Denver in 2019, went 1-2. Quarterback rating was 68. He started 5 games.
I'm tripping. Yeah, 16.
I got you. So he started 5 games for Cincinnati in 2020, and was that after Burrow got hurt? Went 1-4 with a quarterback rating of 82, and then he started 1 game for Cincinnati in 2021, and his quarterback rating was 81. So he's basically Joe Burrow. We should expect Joe Burrow-esque production, I think.
But what does that say about Kyle if we really do see Brandon Allen throwing the ball 20-something times, 20 to 30 times in this game?
Here's what I expect, dude. Like irresponsible speculation. Kyle Shanahan is a little reticent, a little not so excited about giving Brock Purdy this huge contract. So what he says is, all right, man, you want to be a $60 million a year quarterback? I'm going to treat you like a $60 million a year quarterback. We're not going to do so many screens. I'm not going to give you a bunch of passes behind the line of scrimmage. We're not going to do play action that much. It's going to be a lot of 7-step drops. You know why? Because that's the kind of thing, a $60 million. That's the kind of thing. That's high degree of difficulty quarterbacking. And that's what we're going to see if you can do. And then he goes out and freaking Brandon Allen comes in and it's going to be screen, behind the line of scrimmage, play action, guys wide open, yards after the catch. It's like,
screens,
man, Kyle can coach again. Whoa. He's got all these ideas and he's creative. That's what I half expect. Just the best game of Kyle's season right here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I expect as well. I think that Kyle's going to pull out all the bells and whistles because he's playing with house money right now. For him to show exactly what the offense can do, he's going to do it all in this game. He's going to run screens. He's going to use. You know what? I'm calling it. You're going to see a lot of Jordan Mason tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
You're going to see a lot of You're going to see a lot of Jordan Mason. You're going to see, you know what? You might see Jordan Mason and Christian McCaffrey on the field at the same time. All of the stuff that we've been begging to see.
Incredible red zone plays we've never seen before. Waiting for just this week to unveil them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Because he knows that there's nothing on the line, and everything that he shows is going to be looked in the favorable light by the fan base of like, hey man, did you see what he did with Brandon Allen?
I know.
What's the matter with Brock?
Here's what I want to say though. I don't. It'd be fun if this happened. I really don't have a lot of hope for Brandon Allen. He's 32 years old. If he had something, I think he would have shown it by now somewhere else. And I don't think Kyle has this magical ability to make a bad quarterback good. CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins. I don't think he can. I don't think he can do it. Maybe he can.
I want
to see Tanner Mordecai. And I agree. I don't think this is the week. Don't throw Tanner Mordecai in his first start in Lambeau when it's like you need the game. Like wait 3 weeks. But I want to see 4 or 5 starts. Assuming Brock Purdy's out for the whole season. Who knows if he is? Probably not. But at some point, I want to see Tanner. I want to see
I
Tanner.
don't think you'll see Tanner because Tanner would mean that they're officially done with the season.
True.
I don't think
that's what we thought when they put Purdy in there that one time, and it was like, oh wait, he's the best quarterback on the team. Maybe
they had to. They had no choice.
Well,
but to put Brock, they may have no choice to put Tanner Mordecai in. That's true. They may have no choice.
Tanner starts in Buffalo next week. That's not ideal, but he's got a big arm.
Think Tanner would get the start over Josh Dobbs?
No. I can dream though. I just want to see it. I think deep down, I feel like he gives them the look. Because again, Dobbs is like 30, 29. There's no upside.
They've got ceilings. We know what they are.
I'm sorry. Like they've been in the league. We've seen them. There's no upside here. Tanner at least has the potential possibility of having some upside. Maybe. I thought he looked good in the preseason. He can move. He's got a strong arm. I liked him.
I was calling everybody Tanner Mordecai. I liked him so much. Tanner Mordecai did look good in the preseason.
If Brock Purdy can pull it off, why can't Tanner, man? He's got a bunch of experience in college too. He's an athlete. Why not?
Yeah. I don't know.
And you say, why not with Josh Dobbs? Because we've seen it. Why not with Brandon Allen? Because we've seen it.
If we find ourselves cheering for Tanner Mordecai with the way this coaching staff works, we know the season is officially over. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean, a lot of people saying the season's been over since they lost to Arizona. Didn't you sing on your watch party? It's so hard.
Oh, I know the window was over.
I'm saying goodbye
to the Super Bowl window.
Yeah,
dog.
Pretty much.
I saw it for a while. And really it's because it wasn't even because of injuries, right? That wasn't it. What I saw is Kyle won't use everything that the team can do. He doesn't like ugly wins. If Kyle, for some way, if they find a process on how to be an effective team this year, I believe that Kyle would not take the opportunity to do something where he couldn't take the credit. If he had to put Jordan Mason on the field and Christian McCaffrey and play Jacob Cowing and give him Debo's reps and give somebody who's actually fast the end arounds and the now routes and the slip screens and like start using George Kittle. When's the last time we seen George Kittle on the tight end screen? Or a middle screen.
But then they get to the Super Bowl and Kyle's like, well, I knew Jacob Cowing was my best screen guy. I had to do it the right way. I had to bench him for like 3 months, but I always knew that Tanner Mordecai was the best quarterback on the team. It was my secret, and I laughed about it when I would play other people, but deep down I knew. And when Jordan Mason was on the bench, I'm like, man, I'm just giving these teams a chance because it's so easy coaching in this league. It's so easy for me. People understand. It's boring how easy it is.
All right, so let's get into our next topic. No, let's get into some super chats. Definitely,
please.
They're kind of piling up. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
All right. Better question. Here we go. Better question from Dale. $10. Better question. Remember when Grant thought it was going to be Brock or Kyle's team going forward? You think the shit play calling is on purpose to devalue Brock?
I did kind of go into that, independent of you asking me that. I did say irresponsible speculation. Doesn't it kind of seem like Kyle's calling really difficult passes, 7-step drops from under center, the toughest stuff?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
and let's see if he does something different. To me, he did this to Trey Lance too. When Trey was auditioning in the preseason, it was like straight under center drops all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, let's see what you got, buddy. And then Sam Darnold's in there. It's like play action, roll out, dump off. Screen.
Yeah.
It's like really easy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff that really paced him through. He was doing, he was doing it exactly with Sam Darnold. Like when Sam Darnold was operating the offense, he was getting the most likely plays for him. He was being able to dump plays off, get the plays out, get the ball out fast, real methodical plays. And then with Trey, I don't even want to go there, bro. Like, airing the ball out, throwing layered throws, like deep outs, overs, corner routes. It's like, dude, you're not
running, no handing off. Whenever Trey was in the game, the play was either Trey pass or Trey run. He was not allowed to hand off. It was against the rules.
Yeah, he was not handing off. Play action was just not a thing at all. So and it was just
popping you up, buddy.
And to go a step further, that wasn't speculation. John Lynch came out and confirmed it.
Yeah.
He said, Trey did not get the traditional offense. They didn't do him any breaks this off season, and I just thought that was kind of weird and bizarre. But anyway, Juan Jimenez, $2. Thank you. Her GNX because of you. Yep, we already got that. Brother Bob Grant. Yep, we got that. Juan Jimenez, $2. Not going to apologize. That album is buns. So is Tang. The album's not buns, but Tang is buns. Dale, $5. Thank you. Feel like they are not maximizing Brock's play with all of the dropbacks, purposely changing the changing the run first play calling. The whole old scheme has changed.
And he said he had to because defenses are loading up and they expect this, so you got to do that. Again, let's see what he does for Brandon Allen, man. Let's see how he calls the game for Brandon Allen.
I think that he's going to call it an amazing game for Brandon Allen.
It's going to be immaculate.
It is. It's going to be a great game.
Oh, my God.
You're going to see
easy throws.
Yeah, it's going to be tons of easy throws for Brandon Allen that Brock does not get.
There's been zero easy throws for Brock this year. Every throw is like, with two guys draped all over Jawan. Oh, my God.
Yeah. 5 yards before the first down on third down. Like, you know what kills me? How many routes are we going to watch Jawan run where he breaks off his route at depth 4 yards before the sticks and has to fight just to get the first down? Like, why is that route not already at the depth of the sticks? I don't get that. That happens a lot. Anyway.
I think it's funny too how people be like, hey man, the Niners offense isn't as fast as it used to be, and like there's not as much separation as it used to be. It's like, yeah, because the offense is going through Juwan Jennings. Like, I mean, and he's doing well, but like he's not going to create a lot of separation, and he's the slowest wide receiver in football. But he'll catch 10 of 11 targets, and he won't win the game for you, but he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, I mean, to be real with you, losing Brandon Ayuk hurts. But Deebo Samuel being washed hurts more. I think that's not being highlighted enough.
Jawan can do a pretty good Brandon Ayuk impression at a little bit slower tempo, but who's doing the Deebo impression? Not Deebo.
Exactly. If we were getting something out of Deebo, I think that this offense will be moving a lot better. And we're giving him a lot of excuses, but he's not playing well this season.
Fortunately, the Niners have the best fullback in football.
Definitely. Oh my God. Anyway, Dennis McCray. $4.99. We all saw Dobbs outperform Allen in preseason. The fact that Kyle is playing Allen over Dobbs should tell you all we need to know about Kyle. Yeah, I mean, I do believe that.
And if Allen struggles, we talked about like, what does it mean if Allen plays well? Like, okay, but what if Allen struggles? Then a lot of people are gonna be like, why did you think he was better than Doug? What were you looking at? Again, why are you playing? Why can you not play the best players? It's like you didn't get Brock. It took you forever to get Brock on the field when you said you knew, but you didn't. You thought Brandon Allen was your second best quarterback when everyone knew he wasn't. What's going on?
You have a new member, Grant. I need to start this thing going, man. A new member.
Geronimo.
Geronimo 831. Welcome, buddy.
Welcome.
Fonzie Gonzalez, $4.99. When Kyle Shanahan simplifies his offense to capable quarterbacks, Jimmy G, Mullins, Purdy first starts, they tend to be successful. Does Kyle Shanahan do too much or overthink? I don't think he knows how to adjust. I think that his process and what he sees in football it's tops. That's where you get the genius stuff from, right? Knowing plays, right? Understanding the scheme, knowing how to go against defenses. My biggest issue with Kyle is that it's more important for him to win the play than it is to win the game. And that gets in the way. And it all falls down from there.
I just don't think he's really invested in his quarterbacks like people normally are. Like his quarterbacks all get hurt. Jimmy got hurt. Mullins got hurt. Purdy got hurt. Lance got hurt. They just get beaten up.
Beathard got hurt.
And they don't have a lot of pass protection. And when they get beat up, Kyle's like, well, you should have pulled the trigger. You should have processed quicker. Well, I mean, I think that's an issue of your processing, right? That's kind of him.
Yeah. I do think he does. I mean, I think that overthinking, I don't know. I just think that sometimes his ego. He won't change certain things. He just believes that he's right. Master Anycraft 199. I don't think the issue is Purdy, it's Kyle. Yeah, we just went over that. And Geronimo 8312. Niners need to put two running backs in the back always. I mean, it's begging for it. I wish he would do it.
To me, Juszczyk is more of like a H-back tight end than a fullback. Like he doesn't carry the ball. Fullbacks, when I grew up, Mike Allstott, he would carry the ball. He could lead. He could go for 100 yards any game. He was really good. And
Yeah.
that's never been Juszczyk. He catches some passes and blocks a little bit. I don't really want to hand it to him unless it's like 4th and 1, maybe.
100%. I agree. Let's get into our next topic. Crisis at 5-5. Will the 49ers implode? So we've already talked about the game that we have coming up. We already know the injuries involved. But at 5-5, the 49ers find themselves in an unusual position. Known for dominance in the regular season, can they handle adversity with class, or will internal decisions lead to locker room chaos and finger pointing? One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is that we've won a lot over the years, a lot. So that's why the losses stick out. And one thing that I feel is a common denominator is that we're not good losers. There's tends to be finger pointing. There tends to be comments that come out from different players. We already know that we get the perfect Kyle special in post game interviews. And one of the things about in my opinion, the best thing about them losing is that more oftentimes than not, when they lose, the season is over. So we don't have to look at them anymore, right? They can kind of hide away, and it's already like in 1 week we get all of the sound bites, but they get to move on. Losing this game means that the season is essentially over. What do you see for the rest of the season if they start losing games, right? If we don't get Brock Purdy against the Bills, right? And we got to go against Brandon Allen against the Lions. What do you start? Will they lose with class, right? What is one of the biggest things about being a champion, Grant, is knowing how to lose, knowing how to be gracious in defeat, because it shows your championship medal. What do you see moving forward if we do implode and we lose tomorrow?
Well, think about it this way. Like, they were in the process of imploding in Tampa, and they had that little fight in the sideline because it was important for Debo to point out that the reason they were losing was special teams, right? It's your fault. And I think there was a lot of that, like the first 10 games of the season. Why are we not that good? Oh, it's special teams. No, it's red zone offense. No, it was a lot of a lot of the whole team had to like actually look in the mirror. Is it me? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is partially you. But now that Brock's out and they lose this weekend, well, we didn't have our starting quarterback. Easy. Like, no one has to look in the mirror anymore. So I think all of a sudden the finger pointing and the angst, it's over. Like, everyone's it's dead. It's over. And you can just kind of point at Brandon Allen without pointing at him. It's all understood. It's all his fault. And no, it's not the run defense. It's not anything. It's just that we don't have our starting quarterback. And I think that's kind of freeing for them a little bit. But at the same time, like, maybe they will rally around Brandon Allen. I just think they're going to score 10 points, lose a lot, and be like, well, not our fault.
This is what it is.
This is what it is. It's not our fault. Yeah.
Well, all right. If Brock does come back, let's take the injury excuse out of it, right? Because what we have right now, we do have injuries, but it just seems to be that they're timely injuries at the wrong time, right? We really need our guys to be here. My biggest issue is, all right, Brock comes back. Nick Bosa gets healthy, and they're still losing, right? That doesn't go away. The Lions, all right, look, we're looking at possible losses because we have these injuries, right? And I get that. But not for nothing, we weren't exactly good with everybody back anyway. So that's something to look at as well.
Well, here's kind of what I'm looking at with like buy-in from this team. Like, I didn't think there was a lot this season, and the team never came together. And so, like, let's say they lose this week in Green Bay and they're 5-6, and then they have to go to Buffalo. Like, right now, Bosa's not making the trip.
Right.
He's not making the trip to Green Bay. And it's like, okay, right, he's not going to play and he can just do his rehab at home. But I don't know, like, at a certain point, like Trent Williams is making the trip and he may not play. He's a game time decision. At a certain point, like, our older players going to be like, you know what? I'm hurt. I'm not playing this week. You know what? I need surgery. I'm done. That's the kind of thing that happens. Like, instead of like playing it out to the bitter end, people just kind of start dropping off. You know what? I'll see you guys next year. I'm out for legit reasons. But that could be kind of what happens to this team.
Right.
Happened to Brock.
You think about it. There's always been nicks and bruises along the way where, I don't know, like on the backdrop of winning or trying to get a Super Bowl, all of that stuff seems like, the context is, well, you're going to do your best to get on the field.
Like Kittle last year, he was going through something. He had like I don't know, what was it? A core muscle, something.
Yeah, like a core situation.
All year. And then he got the surgery after the season. Like, maybe if you're 5-7, 5-8, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to get that surgery now, so I'm ready for OTAs.
100%.
You know,
I can see that too. So business decisions could possibly get made as we start
because if
losing.
you wait until February to get the surgery, then that ruins your entire off season, and it could affect your next season's preparation depending on when you're done. I don't know. These are decisions that people will have to make in a couple of weeks if they lose, which we expect them to. And I'm looking at Bosa.
100%.
You got 2 soft tissue injuries right now. You've already had a core muscle surgery. Is he coming back? Does it depend on what the Niners do in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah. I mean, right now, the injuries, as far as like guys being able to come back 100%, where you stand in the season as far as being playoff bound does make a huge difference in what guys want to do with their bodies. And then one thing is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You look at both sides of it. On one side, you could look at Kyle, let's look at the Brock situation, how Kyle is in a way saying, hey, it's kind of like up to you if you want to play. If you can go, you can go. If you can't, you can't. We already looked at the MRI. There was nothing there, right? Moving forward, that type of attitude can make a guy say, hey, well, I'm done. We're 5-8. We're 5-7, bro. Like there's nothing really to come back to. So I'm going to go ahead and just start my off season early.
I just want to point out, though, that I think Jimmy did a similar thing in 2020, coming off a Super Bowl loss. He injured his ankle. It never really got
That's
right.
where Trey Lance came from.
Yes. So he kind of shut himself. He came back, tried to fight it through because the season was still viable. Then they start to lose, and he's like, I'm done. And I think that season, Kittle missed 8 games too, but came back for the last 2. A lot of vets. Jimmy Ward came back for the last couple of games. So like, I'm still invested. Jimmy didn't. And I think Kyle may have held it against him. And I think that's maybe why he made the emotional decision to trade up, not for Trey Lance, trade up for the number 3 pick so they could think about maybe taking Trey Lance or Justin Fields or trading for Aaron Rodgers. Like, anyway, I think that's.
I will never get over that. I will never get over the fact that they admitted that they did not want Trey Lance going up to 3. They just wanted the opportunity to pick whoever fell after 1 and 2. That's so wild to me.
Yeah. Agreed.
I will never understand that. Let's move into our last topic because we got some super chats piling up as well.
Sure.
Right now, let's go with slow starts and weak finishes. I had this topic yesterday with Tom on the Faithful Review, and I wanted to get your take on it. As of late, there's been some narrative around the 49ers defense. So what I want to do right now is get into, are the 49ers struggles more about the offense's sluggish starts or the defense's inability to close out games? One thing that we've seen is that, we've lost some close games. There's been a conversation of us possibly being 8-2 rather than being 5-5 if we just finish out some drives. Most of those drives have finished out with our defense being the last unit on the field. But there was some commentary throughout the week about the 49ers defense that is statistically one of the best in the NFL this season. But a closer look reveals that there may be a key contributor to their late game collapses. So in fourth quarter points allowed, last year, they were 3.7 points allowed, and they were ranked first in the NFL. In 2024, with 8.8 this season, they're ranked 27th in the NFL. Extrapolate that to a full game, and that's the difference from the 49ers' 14.8 points per game in 2023 and 35.2 points per game in 2024. Now, their defensive EPA from the first and third quarter is 5th. Their defensive EPA in the fourth quarter is 28th. Last season, their EPA in the fourth quarter was the 4th best overall. So we already talked about the differences in some of these last drives closing the right way, with them possibly being 8-2 versus 5-5. I don't agree with this. I think that this year, if not last year as well, we are an offensively led team because I don't feel like our defense can lead in the way they've done in years past. And I believe that our defense shows up early, fast. They're very opportunistic early in games, especially after halves when they get rest, okay, and they come out their freshest. And I believe that there are many opportunities throughout this season where we haven't really just protected our defense. You look at the turnover on downs last week that the defense got against Seattle, and then we turn right around and go 3 plays for 1 minute and 21 seconds off the clock, and don't even make Seattle use any timeouts. Kyle throws the ball 3 times in that drive after only running 1 time with Christian McCaffrey. And it was just an opportunity of Kyle trying to win the play. Now, that's the defense that happens with the offense, is because when you look at plays that don't work, that's what they are, plays. But anybody can break down why a play isn't working. That's not what the exercise is. What we're trying to do is understand what plays can be ran in the context of what's happening in the game at the moment. You need to run out the clock. That's just something that I see from the offense that's happened in multiple games. So, what say you? Do you feel as though that it's the defense that's necessarily giving up these games late, or is it the offense not taking advantage of the opportunities that the defense gives them earlier through games and the defense is running out of gas?
I mean, it's definitely tied together. The offense shares some of this. I mean, the defense has done so well early in games when the offense has been floundering, and maybe if the offense could like start quicker, it wouldn't come down to one score at the end. And I could see all that. But to
Mhm.
me, I think the main reason that the defense is struggling so much in the last 2 minutes of I mean, they're giving up the most points in the league in the last 2 minutes, I believe.
Mhm.
I think that has mostly to do with Sorensen. To me, that's a rookie defensive coordinator, a rookie play caller. And the little I know about defensive coordinators, about football, the last 2 minutes of a game are way different than the rest of the game. The way you're calling plays on offense and defense are different. I think Sorensen does a good job for the first 58 minutes. I think he does a pretty good job. But in those last 2 minutes, a lot of times you don't have to worry about the run game. You know, it's just passing.
Mhm.
It's sometimes no huddle. It's fast.
Mhm.
And I think what we've seen from him is a very conservative approach. Let's just play too high, zone, rush four, and just that's almost prevent. And just
Mhm.
let Geno Smith, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray just, you know, methodically move the ball down the field and give up runs along the way as well. I think that's been what he's kind of done. And I think a, a more experienced play caller would have a better plan in the last 2 minutes of a game. I think he's getting beat there. And I think Steve Wilkes was better in the last 2 minutes of a game. And I think his experience was a big reason for that.
Do you think that Kyle's trying to run away from the moment where getting
Yeah.
through it fast with explosive plays
Yeah.
and process? I feel as though that if you're a coach and you're in the moment of the game is on the line, and if you want to really get out of this thing scot-free and you're the offensive coordinator, just call a play that you know is going to work in the execution, but you can be tone deaf. I think that Kyle isn't an honest broker. Sometimes he's purposely obtuse, where he acts as if the play should have worked. You know, this is what should have happened, but it's gaslighting. It's like, yeah, the play should have worked, but should you have called that play?
No,
I don't
it's
think
the
that.
same thing that happened in the Super Bowl. It's like you blame Steve Wilkes for not closing out the game at the end, but it's like you could have closed it out with your offense in the third quarter after his defense got you the interception and gave you the ball in Chiefs territory, and you went 3-and-out with 3 passes, and you passed 11 times in the third quarter, and you ran like once or twice. Like that was your opportunity to put the game away with your offense, and you didn't. And then you ask your defense to bail you out at the end, and it doesn't, and they're at fault. Like that's not fair.
But you do understand that this has been happening for years. It's
Yes.
just the only thing that's the only difference is that the defense isn't performing.
Yep.
The defense isn't all world and bails us out. You don't get Nick Bosa in Las Vegas to get a sack pick to close us out when we were one of the best teams in the NFL and they showed up and almost dogged us when we were in Oakland that day. You know,
Mhm.
like you don't get the defense to bow up against Seattle when the offense wasn't showing up to play. They didn't have anything going on in the playoffs. And then our defense is what closes us out to win that game. You don't get our defense that comes out and plays a hell of a game, giving up the biggest rush of the year all year to Aaron Jones in a 50-yard run. Outside of that, basically blanking the Packers and waiting on the offense to show up after over 10 days of rest. Like, how many times when we've been at our best has this offense been the ugly duckling of the team, but everybody kind of sits back and doesn't say anything because what are we doing? We're giving the ball back to our offense. They get so many cracks at it. Go ahead.
Well, when they win with their offense, it's because they score a lot of points and they blow a team out. But when the game is close, they can't win with their offense.
They
We've
can't.
seen it in every Kyle Super Bowl. When the game is close, he needs to rely on his defensive coordinator to win the game. He's like, look, man, I'm just going to kick some field goals and turn it over to you. Like, and call it complimentary football. That's what he does. And that's why he has such a bad record in one-score game.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I just thought that I wanted to bring up that topic because I felt like
it took me a while to get there too. I'm like, nah, I think this is on Sorensen. And the more I think about it, I'm like, No, it's not on so long.
No.
Like, he's not good in the last 2 minutes, but it really shouldn't come down in the last 2 minutes. A lot of these
Thank
games.
you. Like,
Yeah.
why is it that you get so what's more important? The fact that my defense got us to the moment where the
Right.
last moment of the game is still in balance, or the entire quarter where you shit the bed. What's
Yeah.
more important? So
Yeah.
you want to talk about my one drive, but we want to ignore an entire quarter
Right.
where you were inept and
That's
we
true.
kept giving you the ball back. And
Yeah,
we
and
got
you
interceptions.
could say like, oh, you know, he couldn't stop Geno down the stretch. Couldn't stop Geno. They gave up 20 points in the game.
Dude, all right, so let's put it this way.
Give up 20 points. You should win that game. You score 17. You don't win that game.
Thank you. This game is a microcosm of how the fan base lets Kyle and his offense off the hook.
True.
We faced a team that is horrible on defense, that cannot stop the run. All right. Yeah. We lose to this team 20-17. Their league average is 24 points a game. We hold them to 4 points under what they usually give up. Then on top of it, we score 17 on them, and their league average is 23. Yeah. We don't even score the league average on them on offense, but then we can sit here and talk about how the defense is giving up drives late in the game. True. But we can't talk about how the drive before that, the offense shit the bed. Yeah. Defense got turnover on downs and gave you back the ball. Let's talk about the pick that defense got.
Lead with you didn't even have to score. You're already out of field goal. Like, just bleed the clock, and he's calling passes on 2nd 11. You stop the clock. It's like, hey, well, hold on. Don't use your timeout, Seattle. Save that. Say it again, because this is too easy.
We don't need that.
Come on. Let's make this competitive.
That's what I mean when that's where I ask, like, are you running from the moment, dude?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you trying to like take your hands off of this?
I think he is. Let me say something about Kyle. There's a guy who's covered him for 8 years, and I don't want to get irresponsible with like psychological analysis, but I think it's too much for him. He talks about like the moment being too much for certain people. I think it's too much for him. I think he's got a great scheme, and I think he can effectively lead a team pretty far. We've seen him do it. But when it's like pressure's on, second half, not just the season on the line, but his legacy on the line, I think it's too much for him. It would be too much for me. But hey, Kyle, prove me wrong on that one, man. You don't exactly keep your calm and do your best when the pressure is at its highest.
Well, one thing that I will ask, I would love to ask is, you know, the common denominator over all of the failures is lack of self-awareness. And I just feel as though that he's not. I would like to ask, what are you paying attention to? Because you're not paying attention to things that are glaringly in our face as we're watching the game.
And what I don't like is when his camp tries to rewrite history and says, well, look, I mean, the only reason he doesn't have a Super Bowl victory is because he went against Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. No. The only reason he doesn't have a Super Bowl victory is because he beat himself 3 times. Forget the quarterback that you faced. It was you. You beat yourself 3 times in essentially the same way each time. That's the story of Kyle Shanahan until he changes it.
Man, great topic, Grant. Let's close out with some of these super chats, bro. All right. Belichick 2024. Hi, y'all. Using your platform to try to make friends. If you're okay with that, just moved to Phoenix for work. If there are any Niner Giants fans that want to link up, hit me up on X, Sal's 49er. Hey, man, hit up Sal's 49er if you want to. We don't endorse if he's a cool guy or not. We don't know you, Sal, but hopefully you are. Let us know. Get back. Hang out with Sal for the game. Helper123, thank you. Just remember, Kyle's got 4 QBs hurt in 2021. Kyle is the vein of QBs. He would find a way to ruin Mahomes and discard him like he did with Trey. That's another thing. People talk about what Kyle can do with quarterbacks. I don't think that. I mean, what would Josh Allen be if he was a 49er? Right? Would Kyle wait the 3 years for him to become Josh Allen?
No, he can't play. He's just not quite as good as Jimmy Garoppolo yet. Can't play. Sorry.
Would he be injured by then? I don't think Josh Allen would be healthy after 3 years.
He's just not as good in practice as Jimmy, so we're gonna stick with Jimmy. Sorry.
Ivan Tina, what round would you draft QB in the upcoming draft? The QB draft this year is bad. It's bad.
How about instead of drafting a quarterback in round 3, like go sign a former number 1 pick for $5 million? Like, am I the only one intrigued by Jameis Winston? Just me?
No, I am, but I don't think
I am.
The only thing about Jameis is that, first of all, Jameis All right, I'm gonna hip you to a little bit of cultural, like cultural.
He wouldn't necessarily work in this team. Really, he's
Jameis is that cousin that's a little touched. He's special. You know what I'm saying? He's special.
Yeah.
So I love Jameis, but
yeah. But with the Niners, would it resonate in the Niners culture? Jameis.
It'd be a great watch.
I'd play for him.
I think they would play for him. Jameis is a dog.
He's such a rah-rah guy. I feel like the Niners kind of don't like that. Like they're all about like, hey man, like we just, it's the film and it's like, nah, like Jameis is all about like
he's
spirituality,
he's taking the entire
emotions.
NFL, everything. Yeah.
He
reminds me like Jameis could have played 15 years ago, like when football was football, like 20 years ago. Jameis could have played.
Dude, he just beat Pittsburgh. What?
In the snow.
I mean,
it was a hell of a game.
Could have done that.
Yeah.
I like him.
I like Jameis Winston too. He's a hard worker too. He's got a lot of pedigree. Natty out of FSU, won the Elite 11. He's a dog. Dale, $2. Thank you. Jimmy, your plays fucking sucks. True. 2024. Yeah, I agree. Shady Luke, that play action game from Shanny when he uses it is so predictable. It kills me. I think you got to earn play action. I don't understand why we do it during certain times of the game when we don't run the ball effectively. Like he'll do play action off the 2 runs. We'll have like 20 yards on the ground and he's running play action. It's like, bro, what are we doing here, bro?
I just want to see Jameis and Kyle work together. Like Kyle, like, dude, why didn't you throw the 7-yard out?
Well, listen, Kyle. First of all,
the Lord has bestowed upon me this opportunity, and I'm like,
Kyle, there's opportunities on the field that you are not seeing, my brother. And when I'm telling you this, you just need to trust me. All right, all around you. All right, the Lord has His angels encamped in the zones. Okay, and I know where to let that ball go, Kyle. Okay. And yes, I will be at practice tomorrow. No, I am not hurt. I will play. No, Jameis Winston would be crazy here.
It would be like a buddy flick from the 80s in Hollywood. Like Kyle Shanahan voted for Trump. And then Jameis Winston was his quarterback. Who knew 2 guys from different walks of life could get along so well? Mel Gibson is Kyle Shanahan.
And Chris
Danny Glover is Jameis Winston. Lethal Weapon 17.
Yo, I see that right now. Dude, they hit it with this.
In a world, go where no man has gone before.
That's right.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Anybody who wants to see this flick, it'll be good.
I think it would be a great buddy flick. I want to see that.
It would be awesome.
Juan
Jimenez, you should hook up Kyle with some gummies. He needs them. He does. Not during the show. I'm not
stressed.
Yeah, official BNA Music 88 # play the astronaut. Is Tanner Mordecai the astronaut, or is that
that's Dobbs? He's an astrophysicist. Maybe they play both quarterbacks.
Definitely. Javier Sierra, Grant, you don't even eat those gummies. So can we win this games running the ball the whole time with our 3-headed monster? Don't challenge him. Don't give it up.
Sure, absolutely. Why not? Yeah.
I think that we're gonna see all of that tomorrow. Kyle's gonna really lay out everything. I think we're gonna see a very creative offense tomorrow. And if we don't, I'll be disappointed that they feel sorry for themselves. Right? If they come out with a bad offense or look unprepared, what would you say if it was just a complete shit show? Like not prepared, penalties, like
the team is checked out. The team is checked out. It's over.
Yeah.
And they know it. And I half expect that.
I don't want to see that tomorrow. That would really upset me. Brother Bob, Coach, let's debate Cocoa versus Shea Butter. Stop playing with me, man. Whipped Shea on deck. Stop it. Cocoa Butter. It's just black people lotion. Get out of here. So look, Dale, Kyle is not a leader of men, maybe an organizer. I like that. JC, Kyle Shanahan is running out of people to credit for their work. Who wants all blame and no credit? That's true. That's true. You all right? All right. Dale, what's our percentage of empty this year? God.
I don't know.
That's
a lot.
it probably very high. Dale, okay. So y'all are saying what I'm saying, that it's weird play calling, so we should write off Brock and not pay him, like forced to play with the slowest offense. I don't think that if Brock had the fastest offense, right? Like let's say that Brock had everything back, right? BA's back, Christian's never hurt, Debo's, being Debo. I still don't think he's worth 60 because then that means that everybody else is still doing their job.
Yeah, agree. And did you hear how much Kyle Shanahan's making per year?
No, how much?
14.
10?
He's the highest
14?
paid. He's the highest paid head coach in North America who hasn't won a championship. Let me get this real quick. Let me get the numbers real quick. These are before we go.
$14 million, bro.
Is that from Zelda?
I don't know, bro. I got a soundboard over here. I think it's from Zelda.
I think that's from Zelda. Okay, hold on. Let me get the numbers. Okay. Highest paid head coaches in professional sports. In professional sports. Number 1, Andy Reid, $20 million a year, 3 championships. Okay. Number 2, Sean Payton, $18 million a year, 1 championship. That's a lot. Number 3, Steve Kerr, 17.5, 4 championships.
Okay.
Number 4, Greg Popovich, 17 million, 5 championships.
5. Yep.
Number 5, Mike Tomlin, 16 million, 1 championship.
1.
He's doing well this year. Jim Harbaugh, tied for number 5, 16 million, 1 championship. It was in college.
Yeah, that's kind of brutal.
Eric Spoelstra, 15 million, 2 championships. Ty Lue, 15 million, 1 championship.
Who does Ty Lue coach?
Who does Ty Lue even freaking coach? I couldn't even tell you.
I don't even know if he's still...
Sean McVay, 15 million, 1 championship.
Okay.
Kyle Shanahan, 14 million, no championships. That's a lot of money. This team is so expensive to not make the playoffs. There's another thing too. People talk about, this is all from Josh Dubow, AP. People talk about like the Super Bowl hangover.
And Ty Lue's the head coach of the Clippers. Sorry.
Okay, there you go. So people talk about the Super Bowl hangover and how brutal it is. Of the last 16 Super Bowl runners-up, 14 had winning records and made the playoffs. 12 of 16 made the playoffs. 14 had winning records. One of the 2 teams that didn't have winning records following the Super Bowl, the Niners in 2020. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's them. Yeah. Like last year, the Eagles were 11-6. Bengals 2022, they were 12-4. Chiefs 12-5. Patriots in 2018, 11-5, won the Super Bowl. Falcons, after losing the Super Bowl with Kyle, next year came back without Kyle, 10-6. Panthers in 2016, they were 6-10 the year after going to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton got hurt, messed up his shoulder. Yeah. But like Seahawks 10-6, Broncos 12-4, Niners 12-4 after. Remember, the Niners lost the Super Bowl, came back the next year with Harbaugh, went 12-4.
Yeah. They went 12-4 right after that.
Like what? If they miss the playoffs this year, it'll be kind of scandalous, which is again why it's good that Kyle Shanahan has it. Like, Brock, take your time. Take your time, man. As much time as you need.
Yeah. I mean, I got 14 million to the Baja. Like right now, I just want to go ahead and just get another year. So it is kind of like, hey, if we're going to win, let's push forward and win. But if we're not a viable team, the biggest thing right now is staying hired. So I got to operate in a certain way to protect myself and my staff. I'll tell you one thing, come hell or high water, Brian Schneider better get fired. Steven Draper, $2. Blame Debo. It's the route concepts. Shaking my head. Bruh, stop. Come on, man. He can't get open, bro. Stop it, bro. He don't know the whole route tree. Like we're not going to get into this. It ain't, the offense ain't perfect, but effort, being in shape, knowing the route tree, knowing how to run routes. I mean, come on, bro. Like, what does it say to you that Debo's 100% healthy, but Jawan Jennings, the 4-7, gets to take over Brandon Ayuk at the X? It's not about style of play. That's about knowing that skill of play. Debo Samuel is all, but I'm not even going to say it, but he's not doing much for our offense. He's averaging 52 yards receiving a game. He's averaging maybe 2.7 yards a carry. He's only rushed for like 78 yards this season. Like, he's having a down year. It's not the
Coach,
route.
you're on a roll. I love you. I do have to leave in about 5 minutes. We got about 10 more super tests to go. Sorry about that. You're on a roll. I just hate to stop you because you're doing such a good job.
No. We're good.
You're right. I agree with
correction.
you.
Take credit for. Shreddy Murphy, 499. At Coach, is Kyle roster mismanagement due to incompetence or favoritism? Both.
Both.
Official BNA Music 88. If BA wins, Kyle Shanahan will be praised, but if not, he'll play JD sabotage him to save his own skin. He'll always protect himself first. Juan Jimenez, Debo turned into Tang getting paid to go in motion. This team was done in April, spending high draft capital on wide receivers, 4 out of 5 plus HB4 instead of filling holes and depth we need this year was a very arrogant move. Kilo 2W, Purdy will definitely be getting his contract after this 2-game stretch without him. The tank just may be in full effect. Man, that's crazy. I'm starting to believe, she's a P. I'm starting to believe Kyle is a good OC, but not a head coach. Team needs a lively coach who will hype these guys up. Zach Garza, that sound was Metal Gear Solid, Legends of Zelda, Ocarina of Time is the GOAT, no question. I know you like my Metal Gear Solid. Both
count. Yeah.
El Pancho Loco, I hear y'all, but rest differential. I like that. Brother Bob, Cocoa Butter wins. Mason won't get many carries because of Kyle Levy. We'll see. Grant, it was awesome. You are the man. I love this. We got to do this again. Hey, this is the coach. Stay low and keep your feet moving. Holla at you guys. Talk to you.